Hello. So I've just been talking for 5 minutes with the mic on mute. Oh, Lordy. Okay, we're going to do Diddy trial week 2. I'm recording this on Monday, so you'll see on maybe Monday or Tuesday. Let's try and get it processed. And we're going to look at week 2. So week 1, we had Cassie on the stand most of the time. They had to wrap it up by Friday. The judge was very adamant, and I think he was a bit stressed out because imagine something happens to her and the baby. There could be a claim there against the courts, right? But I think the prosecution didn't go in as hard as they could have, and I wonder if that's because of her being pregnant, because she did cheat on her husband, going back to Diddy a couple of times. And this text where she said she enjoyed it and stuff like that. So I think there's elements that they could have pounded in on, and then the prosecution do the recross, like maybe it's trauma bond, still taking some rugs and addicted to them, etc. So like that. The other thing that I mentioned while I was talking to myself is that she'd claimed 30 million, asked Diddy for 30 million when he said he'd settle it, or the lawsuit was 30 million and he settled 20. I believe he told her get the other 10 from the hotel. It was his idea, and it worked out. I don't know what he told her to do exactly, but that's what I was getting on that. I found it really odd that his children are there listening to all this. I feel like by week 3 onwards, it's going to just start rolling. And I think this week they really need to fit the puzzles in, because so far this is looking like a very individual based case, like on Cassie, a lot of domestic violence. But I think they need to really step on the threatening of witnesses, the racketeering, the SEX traffic across states. Like Rico's it was introduced for mafia, right? So they need to really introduce it on a mafia scale to get him for that. And so far it's not embedding in that. It's horrific what he's done. But like the charges need to align, obviously. So they know what they're doing. So they must have something coming up to really look at the rugs, the prostitution side of stuff, because that's illegal, even though everyone does it. Isn't it weird that you go to countries and they know where the streets of prostitution is, and the cops do, but there's no one down there making arrests? It's just so weird. Yeah, it's illegal and it's allowed to be done. Her husband is definitely gold, isn't he? Because I said last time, it's going to be, hope it doesn't affect her marriage, because it's different, like hearing her side of the story, which might have certain details left out. You can't remember all the minor details. Then also things like being with him but then going back to Diddy, and maybe more graphic stuff being said. So she's definitely won herself a man of gold. And I hope, like, if she is giving birth right now as we're talking, that she does have an easy birth, and I wish her all the best for her and her family. She's, definitely pulled through. So there's going to be accomplices, there's going to be victims in this story, and a lot of it is really ex-swingers and people that ignore the violence part of stuff, but a lot of this is a lot of people in the higher ups, etc., swingers, and it taken beyond control. And this is what certain rugs do to you. So it makes you more deviant, and it makes you just like want to push the boundaries. So maybe, we did something on a normal basis, now let's do this, or let's record this, or let's go viral, let's try this, let's add this person, let's add this thing, etc. And you're just always pushing boundaries. I don't understand how they could have gone 4 days consistently I think there are rugs that can make you go like 2 days consistently, but surely you're flat out by that. I need 4 days is quite a lot. I wonder if we're going to hear a bit more on maybe supplements or something that gave them a bit of energy or something, you know, maybe even Viagra. So, you know, in our predictions, I've said we're going to see the celebrity world crumbling. The idolization is going to be crumbling. Some people are not going to go down that route and not going to see that, not be able to see who they idol. I'm not talking only about Diddy, but like, you can go to certain countries in the world and a pop star will pass by and one person might be like, oh my god, it's la, I need to get an autograph, I need to get a picture, and really, really excited. And the other person who's from that country could be like, yeah, okay, let's just go get our coffee. You know, so it's going to be becoming a bit more like that. Oh, it's so and so, and then just like, yeah, okay. Mentioned about Hollywood and the industry changing, and this is all part of that. I do believe during the trial we're going to have a distraction from the trial. I'm going to say good luck with that, but there will be a distraction from the trial. This is very similar to obviously that island, you know, the island of what was happening, and Diddy, a lot is probably the same. I do think, I don't know how Diddy comes across, but I do think he's going to have to take the stand. The reason I say that is because his perspective on his side of stuff won't be said. Like, the defense are able to defend or try to cross-examine, but how he saw things, experienced things on this kind of like dimension, he needs to put his perspective across. Now, it all depends on how he's going to come across. Does he come across okay testifying? Can he present well? But I do think that there is something quite heavy that he probably does need to testify if he can come across well. We'll see how things go. You know, when I've done a past reading on Diddy, I was getting that this sort of stuff didn't start at his level. It started prior to him, and I really felt like there was issues with the father. I wish the mother would get rid of that wig, because it's kind of like, you know, you kind of look at her, tap into her energy, and all it is a wig there. And it's kind of like, just take it off so that I can really tap in. It's so annoying, that wig. I think she's actually been quite a passive woman, maybe at times of marriage. I do see that side. I do see like a quietened down woman. And I haven't really tapped into her energy properly. I was just thinking about her because that wig's just there. I might try and pull a picture up. I wish she'd get rid of the wig. She'd look so much better. I don't know what her hair is like, or if she's got hair or whatever, but I'm sure she'll look so much better. So it didn't start with, I wonder about his dad. And definitely the rugs took him down this sort of sex deviant side that's coming out, but to extremes, like pushing the boundaries. It's very clear that he's bi as well now, so if he can't really deny that. I just see so many Hollywood people, like the swinging going on and exchanging of partners. There's going to be strange things that happen during this trial, and there's going to be kind of like missing pieces that seem to be missing, then slot in, but then something else goes wrong. I feel like any moment, I think some of us might be waiting for it. If not, I am. something like, that's why I said there's a distraction coming up, but we don't know if this will end and we'll see something that everyone wants to see or not. I also was getting that there could be, I'm not sure if it's on the prosecution or defense side, one of the female attorneys, and I don't know who has female, she might have to step off the case. She wants to be on it, but there's something that goes on with, I want to say, a father figure. And I don't know if he's corrupt, or I don't know if he's in the government or politician or something. Or maybe he's in law himself. And it's not conflict of interest, but it kind of puts a thing that, you know, she needs to pull out because of what he's done or something like that. Not because it affects the Diddy trial. But I think what her father does or done is not okay. I don't know, there's something there. We'll have to see what comes up. So how have you been feeling on this week? Is everyone watching it? Do you feel like it's proven everything that they want to prove? Or was you expecting to see like this Diddy being the ring master of an enterprise? Because that's what I was sort of thinking, more of a mafia. And I think, especially with the RICO, and I think that must come up because it's very much individually based, which is horrific things that's been happening. I wonder how he's doing now that he's probably virtually, sometimes they get rugs somehow, but in comparison to what he was doing and the things he was doing, it's not the same. I wonder how he's feeling now. They must have put him, I guess, on antipsychotics. Remember, disclaimer, this is for purposes only. I did mention in week 1, it won't be the last trial for him. The thing is, I just wish everyone that does wrong is brought to trial. But I said from the beginning of this that there's going to be so many names, they're not going to bring everyone to trial. Because it's that kind of worms. So they're going to try and always pin it back to Diddy because they need to cap it and they can't bring everyone that they should bring and get answers to and justice on to trial. It's very complex. So we might see something around underage children, maybe. Did anyone see Piers Morgan interview with a rapper or a guy called CC? He had really dark glasses on. I enjoyed that. And he is trying to help women and children that are ST around the US and probably around the world. But I liked that interview. If you've not seen it, his name is CC and it's about the Diddy trial, so I'd go watch that. Does anyone actually doubt Cassie or think she was lying during her testimony? Let's see how she was feeling with the cards. Very strong cards. So we've got the Temperance. She knew she needed to come across very moderate in her tone, very sort of calm and patient. There was just some sort of so it's she wished things were different. A lot of it was obviously from her past, okay, and her being a bit younger. what she wished is that there was a lot more balance. But I do think she might make a claim on something, or she's got a claim coming up on something. There's kind of like an exchange going on here. For her being on the stand as well. Bottom of the deck, 5 of Swords. It wasn't mentally easy, and I don't think it's going to be emotionally easy once she's finished and she absorbs what she's done. She's really had to tame her ego while she's sat there as well, like in terms of what she says, not to, basically to come across very moderate, maybe soft-spoken. Okay. There's a lot more dark ritual kind of stuff, whether they made it up or whatever, that does go on in these things. So not everything, I don't think she said everything in absolute detail, but I think she's been telling the truth. Let's see. Got 6 of Pentacles again. Yeah, she was telling the truth, and she's not holding herself victim anymore. There's that exchange, you know, for whatever she's exchanging being on the stand, and she's holding on to her narrative and what her side of the story is. She's not shaking on that, and it is in terms of her relationship with Diddy. Okay. I do think that she might start remembering more and more stuff after this, and she might have done while she was talking, but I feel like the prosecution tried to keep her within the boundaries of not extra detail because of the case. Very narrowed down, and I do think this partying and all this thing going on had so many different layers, and people and knowings and accomplices, and people that wanted to be there, wanted to take part, and I think some things she couldn't remember to the T, and she wasn't lying. I think she was being kind of coy about the hotel money that she got. Actually, I think this is what they was talking about, the exchange, because she didn't say, yeah, I got a settlement of 10 million straight away. She was a bit coy. They had to fish, didn't they, for it? And it was kind of like, have you received it? You haven't received it. She wasn't like, yeah, I've received 10 million, that's it. It was kind of left in the air that she's got something going on with the hotel. And then eventually it came out that she got 10 million from them. I do think her memory is going to start coming back to her slowly. And I just don't, I hope it doesn't like haunt her. I want to ask another question. I know the answer to this, so. But we're going to see what the cards say. Yeah. There are people, the Illuminati involved, and people that are part of the Illuminati were involved. We've got the community of them. We've got the confirmation for me, the Fool. And then the 10 Pentacles, the rich and the famous that are included in it. Look at that amethyst as well. It's kind of like you need the protection. It's like sex, rugs, power, control. I think a lot of this was power with him, you know, and then being so invincible. When you do one thing, you don't get caught. Because the thing about Frank Black, and then he's caught in that hotel room after the Cassie thing with Frank Black, is just so weird. Like, you settle a case with Cassie, you know she was going to speak, and she knows it about Frank Black. Why would you book in that hotel with medicines under Frank Black? That really was weird, and that's the part that that doesn't sit well with me, and I wonder how we're going to see that translate in terms of that search they did. He wasn't there, I don't think, but they found like baby oil and they found the Frank Black medication. But that either tells you there's something else that was also going on to get this to this stage, or and I'm going to explore that a bit more because it is something that's coming through to me, or he felt like he was so invincible that he wasn't going to get caught, especially seeing other people that have done this for many, many years and not being in such positions, and that he paid her off, so she's the main person that could have spoke. But I just think it was very, very silly. A lot of info is going to come out week 3 onwards, and it's just going to be bam, 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 bang. So I think if that's going to cover the rest of the bigger charges, will it be solid enough to prove? It should be solid enough to prove, definitely. And I think it's going to come down to possibly a younger person's testimony. It could have been Cassie's being the main person who started like the testimonies. But I think the main thing that takes the weight with the jury. But the lawyers are working on it. It seems like they're in disagreement on something, though, on how to present something that can be perceived in the right way. I wonder if someone younger is going to come through, or if that is where they really want to clear the perception on some of the things that Cassie might have testified. Okay. I really don't think he likes women, does he? He seems to be more violent with women than the men. Because with that judgment and with prosecution, we know that governments can do wrong, and justice can be sometimes injustice. Also, I mean, like I said, 4 days consistently, no rest or anything. Is that even doable by the human? Even if you're taking that amount of rugs? That is a big question. I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely think he's done all that crappy stuff. But really need to give weight to the threatening of witnesses, as well as violence overall, the paid prostitution, the ST across state lines, the rugs, to give it more weight. And I wonder if that's going to come through. He did use Frank Black after Cassie's settlement, so he did use it. Yeah, he thought that Cassie was in a better place. She's happy with her family. He's given her what she wanted, the settlement, the justice she needs. She wouldn't have spoken, so they're not necessarily going to tie in Frank Black to him, because it's only Cassie that would probably know about this properly. Or, you know, those that are closest to him, and they would need to really go on trial for that, but mainly Cassie. And so he thought she wouldn't testify in reverse of him. Last question. So there could be his involvement. You know, there's Kim Porter. People are saying Tupac. I don't believe he's involved in Tupac. That's not what I see. And other names, you know, people are saying about Aaliyah now. I don't believe he was involved in Aaliyah. So the names that are already out there, is there someone beyond those people that they're tying with him? I think are they tying Prince, or Prince has a recording? What is all that about? So Kim Porter's the main one, but is there a potential that he was involved in someone else's demise, so blood on his hands in a certain way? And I get yes, him and another person. And this person, we know this person is a name, and there could well be, apart from those famous names that he's already linked to. So that's what I've got for this week's trial. If you're enjoying this, let's do the week 3. And you might see this as Monday wraps up, or depending on when I can get it done. And yeah, someone tell Diddy's mum to stop wearing that wig. She looks better without it, even though I've not seen her head. But so it's there. All I see is a wig. It's just a wig. See you in the next one.